Hey everybody, this is Spencer. Welcome to Cooking with Creatives. Today I have Dalton Ringey, who's a composer. We met at a music festival and super excited to be making a pan pizza today. Welcome, Dalton.
Thank you.
Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, post pictures of your pizzas in the comments below. I also recently launched a Patreon, so feel free to go check that out. I'll be doing really interesting events for Patreon subscribers. Keep an eye out for announcements about those coming up. Anyways, let's get started. Okay, well, as we get started, Dalton, can you tell me a little bit about your music and what you do and where you're from?
Yeah, so I'm currently based in Gainesville, Florida. I just finished up my first year of my PhD at University of Florida, originally from the Northeast area. And my music, I just kind of like writing stuff that interests me and excites me personally. So stuff that makes audiences excited, musicians excited. Anything like that is really what I'm kind of interested in doing.
Great. Would you say that you take a performer-centered approach to your music then?
Yeah, totally. So I'm a clarinetist by training. So a lot of my work as a composer is kind of informed by my training as a clarinetist. And I'm trying to slowly bridge that gap between composer and performer as well.
So we decided to let our pizza dough rest directly in the cast iron while Dalton also made some sauce. Dalton, can you just give us a very brief, what's in your sauce?
Yeah, so it's crushed tomatoes mostly. It's a little bit of olive oil, garlic, just some spices, basil, oregano, red pepper, and then a little bit of sugar to balance out the acidity, and then just kind of season with salt and pepper to taste.
Wonderful. Well, why don't we start building our pizza? I'm gonna put cheese over the top first as a layer. This helps for the type of dough that we're using. Keeps the tomato sauce from making the dough soggy. Which is not the type of pizza we're making here. So, Dalton, can you tell me a little bit about what you've been working on this summer?
Yeah, so I've been taking part in a virtual music festival that's in its inaugural season, which has been pretty much the whole month of July, which has been exciting. It's called Z Festival, so lowercase z, uppercase F. So it's kind of like a backwards FZ if you're thinking about it in musical terms.
Nice. And how's that going? How is that experience?
It's been really interesting, a pretty good learning experience for sure, because we only it came together very quickly. So it's a lot of kind of learning as you go. So we got our ensemble placements that the musicians that we were writing for. We got those placements, and we only had 2 to 3 weeks to really write a piece. And sometimes that's that's not an issue, or I can write very quickly. But normally I kind of write over a month or two just to really fine tune things and get it kind of exactly how I wanted. So we had a couple weeks to have a kind of a rough draft of the piece to send to the ensemble as well as the people in the festival. And then by the time the festival started in July, we had to have a final draft due.
Oh wow! And how did that piece come? How are you? How did you approach that piece, knowing that it would not be performed in person?
Well, I tried to make it as easy as possible for the other musicians, just because I didn't want to have a lot of complicated tempo changes and things of that, and a lot of weird meter changes that would just really make it hard to put together, even with a click track. So I really kind of just I had like my concept for the piece early on. So I kind of was doing my best to bring that concept to light, and I didn't want it to be too overindulgent in like tempo changes and meter changes, which is a lot of my music will have a lot more flexibility in that nature. It'll be a lot, I usually have a lot of meter changes. If I did have all of my meters in like in this piece, it was all just a base of 4. So I did have some like 4/4, like some 5/4 and things like that. But for the most, it was just something that was going to be easy to put together, just because I didn't want it to be that stressful of an experience for those that were involved.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like you really take a performer-centric approach. I have to ask though, how was this piece, or how will it be presented?
So it'll be presented, there'll be a visual element. So for all of them, whether it's an actual artistic visual element or simply just a video of each of the ensemble members, all the pieces will have some sort of visual element. So for my performance, it'll just be a video of all 4 of the ensemble members kind of playing along the piece. So they'll probably record video with the audio that they're sending in, and then that'll kind of be put together, and it'll be all premiered on a YouTube live stream, I believe.
Oh wow. I guess then my question for you is, how do you feel about the pre-record versus live performance in the time of COVID?
It's a really interesting thing, because one of the options as a composer that we had for this festival was whether we wanted it to be a live Zoom performance and to use sort of those oddities that Zoom kind of adds to a live performance when you have a lot of people joining in. And I chose to go the pre-recorded route just because if I had more time, I would maybe think about doing something more creative with Zoom, but I just didn't have anything off the top of my head that would lead itself well for that. So I just chose to go with the pre-recorded. And I didn't really know, like, I only got names of the people I was writing for. I don't know them personally, so I don't know, the levels of each performer. I think the youngest performer that in the ensemble I wrote for is just graduating high school. So there's a lot of range for them, for the levels of performers that they have. So I really wanted to, so I went on the side of the pre-recorded stuff, but that sort of had its own problems when we've had to rehearse. We've had rehearsal times, and we can't Zoom, it won't allow for 4 different channels going at once, so we're still in the middle of trying to figure out a way to work with that, like using the Listen Now plugin that we've talked about in the festival, or using other platforms to rehearse in, so that we can at least get the feel of performing together.
Absolutely. Now we're going to put it into the oven for about 20 minutes, but we'll keep an eye out on it. I'm going to put this on the lowest rack of the oven, and then we'll check on it, and then I'll transfer it to the top rack of the oven as it makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you prefer having a live performance of things right now, or do you think that the pre-record makes the most sense for you?
For me, at this, say if I'm playing my own music, like I'm trying to get into, I'm kind of in the process of writing stuff for an album in the future. For me, I don't have the technical expertise to do everything live. So for me right now, I'll probably start by pre-recording things, and then hopefully gradually get the the technological expertise and maybe the right equipment to do live stream concerts. I think ideally, if everything goes well with the live stream and a live performance, I think that's the most ideal setting, because I think you just get, there's an aspect, there's a feeling with live performance that you don't really get from pre-recorded music. So I really think it just depends on, you know, the level of the musician and the level of technology, like the use of technology. So that's kind of where I stand on that. Is I think ultimately, if you can do live performance, I think that's the most effective way. But otherwise, if you don't have, say, the technological expertise, or you don't have the right gear to, say, do like live stream something, then a really good, you know, pre-recorded piece of music is going to be better than a not great live performance. I think you have to look at your what your own strengths are and decide what's going to be best for you, for your ensemble, and kind of go from there.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I'll say, like, from my own experience, just in the last couple of months, I've seen people who have lots of technical experience and understand how tech works and have bad live stream performances because the internet went out, or the something along those lines, or the technology that they were working with, the server just stopped working to that level. And for me, I found that my listening experience was definitely hurt significantly because of that. And so I guess for me, I could talk about this forever, but like I think that you have to have this. You have to figure out what's the most important thing for who you're presenting this to. And in this case, I think that's, so who's your audience, and is your audience looking for a community experience, or are they looking for to try to recreate something that's been lost? Because I think we've all been lost a little bit during this time, and so I think it's just important to try to figure out what makes the most sense for you and your audience, and for your performers. So I totally agree with you. Anyways, we're gonna let our pizzas cook in the oven for a little bit, and we'll catch back up with you when that comes out of the oven.
Got the nice caramelized edges. Perfect. And beautiful.
So we let our pizza sit for about 5 minutes to let cool before we cut into it. Dalton, can you just tell us where is the best place to find out more info about you and your music?
Sure. So you can, my website is dhreniermusic.com. You can find all my scores and other recordings all linked up there. And then I'm also on YouTube at Regnier Composer. So all my live performances, score videos, anything that you could think of are all going to be there.
Wonderful. All of that can be found in the description below. Go subscribe to his channel, subscribe to my channel, like this video, hit the notification bell, post pictures of pizza in the comment sections. I'd really love to see pictures there. And anyways, we're gonna enjoy this pizza, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah, that's good.